That was for Overwatch. It's dead. It's dead. How old is it? It's dead. It is officially dead. After, let's see, it came out in 2016, it's 2023, about 7 years to the day. Just when I decided to make this video, it turns out Overwatch turned 7 today. It's dead. It is very dead. It died just before turning 7. That's kind of tragic, ain't it? Less than 7 years old. That's kind of fucked. And this is a memorial to Overwatch. That one was for Overwatch 1, the first game, not the second one. I haven't played that one for good reason. Overwatch 1 was one of the greatest games of all time. I think a lot of people who played it back when it was still around would probably agree. If not, it's because of how it turned out after the initial launch. I've not played Overwatch for years. Not since before Overwatch 2 came out. Because, oh god, I was not a fan of the direction it was going. After multiple years of playing the game and having no content, that's a little fucked, if you ask me. I'm not even someone who played since the beta or since the launch. I believe I played since around the first or second anniversary, and then I played for about 2 or 3 years, but those 2 or 3 years I played non-stop. If I have some Overwatch 1 footage, I'm just going to throw it in up here. I don't know if I do anymore, but I'll look for it. This is a funeral and a celebration of life to possibly one of the best first-person shooter team-based games of all time. Overwatch 1 came out, did great, very different from what was around. I think games even really copied from it. You look at Paladins and things like that. I mean, I don't think Paladins would exist the way it does without Overwatch. Could be wrong. Overwatch was originally almost like a TF2 clone. I remember it was called that for a long time, but a lot of people were really into this game, including me. I played it for multiple years, but around when the content drought started, which, by the way, there was like a 3-year content drought on this game by Blizzard, which you think they would be able to support it in some way, but apparently not. No. So during that drought, I dropped out eventually because I got bored. I played lots of games. I don't stay in the same game very long unless I really like it. I think the only time I've stuck on the same game was Final Fantasy VII Remake. I played that one start to finish to completion, and I didn't play anything else until I was done with that one. That took about 90 hours. Very good game, but we're not talking about that. Overwatch 1 was also like that. I would play the game day in and day out. I was in high school at the time. I would come home from high school every day playing fucking Overwatch. I'd be hopping around with my friends. Who the fuck wants to play? I was not even good. I played probably hundreds of hours on Genji. Okay, I was that guy. I was the Genji guy. And I probably didn't get past gold, to be honest. I was that guy. But I enjoyed the game a lot. I think for a lot of people, Overwatch is a good and a bad memory. For me, it was a very good memory. I spent a lot of time with friends and getting to know friends, and just it didn't matter what the game was. It was enough to let us all talk and hang out. For a lot of people, that was exactly why it's a bad memory. But for me, I remember it being very nice. The game was very fun, and you could play it over and over again. If you got tired of one hero, you could switch to another, and it was like an entirely different game. Especially when you change class from either the attacking to the defense heroes, or to the tank heroes, or to the support heroes. There's a lot of different options. And then things started slowing down. You had new heroes being added, but the events were the same. The events were getting to where they were adding just a couple new skins. And this is what the players waited for months. Months they waited for the new events to come around, like Summer Games or the anniversary event, just to be treated with maybe 5 or 6 new skins, and some of them were just variations of what was already around. This is around when I dropped out. I believe this was 1 or 2 years into the drought, and I just said, you know what, I've got other things to do. This isn't worth my time, because I played Overwatch 1 to have fun with my friends, but I liked grinding the loot boxes for the skins. It was fun being able to play and work towards something, like getting another loot box to open to hope to get something. For about 3 years, it felt like they weren't supporting the game at all, versus other online games. Smaller scale online games were getting better support than Overwatch was. It was concerning and annoying and boring, which is why I left. But then they announced Overwatch 2, and it was kind of like a, huh? But Jeff Kaplan comes on stage, great man, love him. Comes up and he's like, hey, we're going to redefine the sequel. We're going to combine this game and the next one, so you don't have to worry about losing your stuff. And we're coming out with this big single-player mode. And it's going to be a good time. You're going to have a lot of fun. He said that. And fast forward a bit, Jeff Kaplan leaves the company. He was vice president of Blizzard. Now, Blizzard is a part of a bigger company, Activision Blizzard King Games, but he was vice president of all of Blizzard and just gone. He just left. What would lead to someone to do that? Why would they leave vice president position of a company? It's almost like part of their company. You can see Dante a bit back there. Hey. And then we got more updates about Overwatch 2, and it started making sense. They were showing off this PvE mode, which is what everyone's calling it, the PvE mode, where you would go through this single-player mode, and you could also do co-op. It was almost like Left 4 Dead, but with these huge ability trees where you can unlock different powers for the heroes. This was really exciting for a lot of players because for me, like Genji, they had different powers than the main game. So there was new shit to look forward to for every hero that they were showing. Even if we didn't expect every hero to be in it, I mean, that's reasonable. So people reasonably got very excited. You're telling me this new game's going to be a part of the old one, going to have new graphics, and there's going to be a new mode that's as big as the online game. That's great! Except, fast forward even more, they decided to release the Overwatch 2 multiplayer. And at this time especially, Overwatch 1 was not supported at all. I was long gone, but this game was getting nothing. I think it was barely getting balance updates at this time. But then the Overwatch 2 multiplayer comes out. I believe they advertised it as a beta. It came out, I think, last year in October, either that or the year before. I'll put it on screen. And it was a basic update to Overwatch. They removed one character, and as Donkey pointed out, they did not account for removing that one character. It is not as easy as pressing -1 or just, taking one out of there. Because the characters were built around 6v6. Even if the design was very minor around 6v6, initially all of these characters were balanced around having 12 people in one game. You remove 2 of those, you're removing a large chunk of the game. I'm not going to get the percentage on that. I'm not there right now. You're removing a large portion of the game, of the players. And that you can't just do that. You gotta specifically redesign some of the characters to account for that. You can't just do that. And this showed a lot in the final Overwatch 2 PvP because it's rough. I think at first it was really good, and a lot of the hardcore players said, "Finally, this is great." I was still long gone. I downloaded the game and then I never played it because it wasn't working. So I said, "Screw it," because the servers were so full, everyone was trying to play it, which is crazy. Because it was just Overwatch 1.5, as Donkey said. It was just Overwatch 1.5. They just updated the game slightly and reworked some of the heroes. Slightly. A lot of my issues with the game still stood. The game felt horribly unbalanced and pushed towards certain characters and away from others. Didn't feel like you could play any character, which is fine. You shouldn't be able to play every character, I understand that. But some characters were just way too far gone, and it's like if you didn't pick these 4 characters at least, you might as well give up because you're not trying, obviously, because those were the only good characters to use in every team.
Something I forgot to clarify as well is when Overwatch 2 did finally release, it meant the deletion of Overwatch 1, which was not initially planned or announced.
Yeah, so it comes out and it's free to play. Now, originally Overwatch 1 you had to buy. It was about $40, I think. I think that's how much I paid for it. Or maybe it was a Christmas gift. I don't remember. I was in high school. Who fucking cares? Overwatch 2 is free to play, which sounds nice. There's no more loot boxes. Now, I'm someone who believes loot boxes are a bad thing. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed unlocking them, but I do agree they are a bad thing, especially if you can pay for them and you don't know what you're getting. So what did Overwatch 2 have instead? You have to unlock skins somehow, right? Well, you had to buy them. Skins that you would get fairly common, such as epic skins like this right here. Usually just a recolor. You're looking at $10. $10. Yeah, the epic skins were about $10. I had to look it up. Legendary were $20, and they introduced a new rarity, which is just a kind of more detailed legendary. I think it's called Mythic. I believe they cost even more. I don't know how much they cost. But essentially, they started charging real cash for these skins. Now, you bought the coins, and then you bought the skins. But essentially, it boiled down to spending a lot of cash on a single skin or a couple skins. It was ridiculous. Now, honestly, the reason I played the game was to get those loot boxes to get new skins. Did it affect the gameplay? No. And so I actually am willing to let this go I don't think it's a huge deal. Like I said, did not participate in the games, kind of been observing. But I think that's not so bad. I do think it sucks, but it's definitely worse than the original, but you do lose loot boxes, so I think it's sort of a whatever you're willing to work with kind of thing. And this was troubling for a lot of players because they were before able to get skins all the time, constantly, every 10 minutes really. Now you better have a lot of money if you want new skins because there's no more loot boxes, but you do get to pick the ones you want. They just cost a shit ton of money. Now, you can still unlock them in the game for free, but it's going to take you, I think, over a month just to get one legendary. It's basically you buy them or you don't. So this is a big red flag, but at least the PvP felt better for the most part. But then there's little things like modes missing, no more workshop, the on fire system was removed. There was a time period where characters were completely unavailable because they were that broken. Bastion was banned and removed from the character list for weeks because he was too broken. They took him off the character list. Bastion, boom, gone. Mandela effect. He never fucking existed. Oh, he never fucking existed. There's my finger. Torb, I believe, had a similar issue, but how does that happen? We went from Overwatch 1, where everything worked fine, to Overwatch 2, where we're removing characters because they break the entire game. What the fuck? Basically, Overwatch 2 felt like an entire downgrade from what we had before. And I think I think everyone was happy to just pay for the game and, unlock loot boxes and shit and buy them if they wanted more. I never bought any, but whatever. Obviously, this setup makes a lot more money, which is understandable. You want to make money. A couple months go by. Different updates are better and worse. This is where I did not keep up at all. It was only recently I fell back in to see what was going on because everyone heard about this. That PvE mode I mentioned earlier was canceled. That's cool. What? It's canceled? Not entirely, according to them. I think it's complete. This is bullshit. Okay, so the PvE mode with the hero skill trees and the single player mode, gone. We're done with that. We can't make it happen. They said so themselves. It's not happening. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna release the missions throughout the seasons and put them behind the battle pass. Most likely. Pretty sure that's what they said. You following me? This is like what they did before in Overwatch 1. Going back to Overwatch 1, one of the weakest parts of the game to me was when they did the events with the story missions. The first 3 times, sure, they were fun. They were cool. The very first time, it was badass. You get to see this new story, little bits of it. It's like lore. You need to play these characters. You have to pick from just a couple of them. It was cool for a moment, all right? But it was not worth getting out of bed for, if you know what I mean. After you play them first couple of times, I think you were kind of done. Most people let them go because they're very fucking repetitive. They were boring. I got a feeling that's what these modes are going to be too. I think these new campaign missions are going to be the exact same thing. I think that's what a lot of people are worried about. But everyone's upset. And this is the moment where it sucks to say, I told you so. Not me, but it kind of me. Listen. It sucks to have been right about this game being so fucked. Because in the end, I did want the game to be good because I did enjoy it at one point. But now that it's completely gone, that just sucks. Okay? Because obviously I don't want the game to fail. I just think it was shit and that's why I quit playing. But it's just a shame. It's truly just a shame that the game is as bad as it is. So this is in memory of Overwatch 1. And all the joy, all the good memories it brought you and your... Oh my god, my camera setup is completely scuffed. I'll throw in a picture at the end showing why the fuck that just happened. But this is a memorial to Overwatch 1. All the good memories you had, all the bad times, every single fucking hour you spent grinding ranked, playing solo, playing with your friends, getting mad at your friends, trying to get good at characters. Just any time you had an Overwatch, this one's for you. It's over, though. It's dead. It's super dead. We'll have, like, a death anniversary in, like, a year or some shit, but Overwatch is pretty fucking dead. My advice, Blizzard, I know you're listening, Overwatch 3, start over, new characters. No, you can do the same characters, just delete the roster, start at, like, 10 again, and fucking start over. Yeah, fucking give up. This shit's garbage. Bye. What is that? Is it in the air? A little trick. wasn't a fan of the way Overwatch 2 was going. And I don't think that title is unfair. I think Overwatch 2 was one of the best of all time. Overwatch 2 suck. Oh, fuck. A lot of this is to do. Thought my dog didn't. Uh-oh, he's good.